A reshuffled grid and an awful lot of touring car adrenaline. The third championship race of the day always provides a spectacular entertainment. It's round 15 of the Dunlop MSA Touring Car Championship. Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards with the commentary.
And it's Andrew Jordan starting this one from pole position, courtesy of the reverse grid and the top 7 going back to front. On joining him on that front row is Tom Boardman, Tom Onslow-Cole in the Ford Focus, Paul O'Neill in the Sunshine.co.uk car on row 2, then Plato in the Chevrolet and Matt Neal in the Honda. They're still together. Shedden and Collard are back on row 4. They've both been fast today. McDowell and Neat are on row 5. Tom Chilton in the second Ford is on row 6, with Martin Depper, who was an excellent 12th in that second race in the Forster Motorsport BMW. James Nash and Daniel Lloyd were both passed by Depper on that last lap. They start on row 7. Martin Johnson and Sean Hollenby on row 8. Lee Wood and Arthur Forster are on row 9. And towards the back, watch out for the 2 Airwaves BMWs of Stephen Kane and Matt Jackson. So there we go, the lineup for this final race. Just mentioned those 2 Airwaves cars, and if Stephen Kane is going to retain his record of getting on the podium in at least one race of every meeting so far, we're in for quite a treat, because he's having to come from all the way down the back this time.
Well, if ever there was a race you could do it in, it's probably the third race of the day, where there's more action than ever, and a slightly pensive looking Andrew Jordan, I thought, on the front row of the grid, courtesy of the reverse grid, but hopefully they've solved the problem with the car with that new front damper on the car, but nevertheless he hasn't had good pace this weekend and has got to expect that Tom Onslow-Cole behind and Paul O'Neill will be on his case very quickly.
Yeah, there is the Pertec car on the left hand side of your screen. It's running the new generation turbocharged engine for the British Touring Car Championship. Tom Boardman on the right as we look at it, with the Union flag on the top of that privateer Seat. The last few cars are moving into position, and in front of a packed crowd here at Croft, we are all set for the third race of the day. Round number 15 of the championship before the summer break takes over. Who's going to go away with something to celebrate for the long summer gap before we race again at Snetterton? Engine revs begin to rise. The lights are about to come on. It's a bit of a long hold this time. Away we go, and both front row men making a pretty even start. Slow start from one of the Hondas. That was Matt Neal, quite slow away, but Andrew Jordan's made a good start. And here comes Tom Onslow-Cole down the inside, trying to take second. Oh, there's contact there. Onslow-Cole's lost it in front of everybody. No, he gets it back. That's amazing, but it's given Andrew Jordan a massive break.
Well, Tom Onslow-Cole was moving across in front of the other car, just got tagged, but did very well to hold it, but it's broken the whole field up. Boardman had to shortcut the chicane there, and well, there's some damage on the back of Paul O'Neill's car. Yeah,
Plato's taken full advantage of all this. Plato's up to third. Andy Neat in trouble. He's had the rear bumper swiped off the car, not quite sure how, but there's Paul O'Neill with a rubbing right rear tyre, battling with Gordon Shedden. Matt Neal did not get away well, and compared to Plato, he's in a much worse place. Plato's there in third. Matt Neal's lots of places further back. He's at the back of that next queue.
Yeah, it's a very busy first lap, as you expect, but at least now Andrew Jordan can get his head down, try and concentrate on some consistent laps.
Yeah, this is a big chance for Andy Jordan up front. How long can he stay up there while the others are all battling behind? On board with the second place car of Tom Onslow-Cole, looking at Jason Plato. And this has been a good start for these two. They'll both be pretty happy, but Plato will be keen to try and get past the Focus as quickly as possible. But it's a quick machine, as we've seen, particularly in a straight line.
Yeah, and Onslow-Cole knows he can just defend there into the hairpin and use the power coming out onto the straight to pull away, but Plato will also know where he's most vulnerable.
Yes, and let's see what he can do on the run down towards Clermont. Jordan with a very useful lead of 3 seconds at the end of that first lap. Onslow-Cole and then Plato. Let's take another look at the start.
Yeah, great start by Andrew Jordan, and immediately behind, Tom Onslow-Cole's got up the inside of Boardman, who's pushing him to the grass. Once he knows he's got position, he moves over a little bit to take a line for the corner, but just gets tagged by Boardman. Not Boardman's fault, if anything, Onslow-Cole, but that starts a little bit of a chain reaction at the back as everyone slows down.
Yeah, there were lots of cars taking to the dirt, weren't they, as a result of it? Yeah, that was the move.
This is from the inside. You just see the touch there. That isn't Boardman hitting the back of Onslow-Cole. That's Onslow-Cole moving across. Great car control, but Plato, ever the opportunist, straight up the inside there.
Yeah, and that's how Plato, he manages to somehow nip through past Bourman there on the inside, and that's got himself into third place as Bourman had to shortcut the chicane. So here we are, back to the battle between Paul O'Neill and Rob Collard. Oh, there's a little bit of nudging there, and Collard's got down the inside. Paul O'Neill is squeezed out, and he's lost another place there. Andrew Jordan still leading this race though, and Rob Collard determined to make up for the disappointment earlier. Remember, O'Neill clattered into Collard when he got hit by Matt Neal in race 2.
Yeah, although Rob Collard probably doesn't remember it quite that way. He only remembers the car that hit him, so he was taking no prisoners there.
Well, he did apologise, we heard from Paul O'Neill, because he did blame Paul O'Neill for that instant until he saw the video coverage and realised that Paul O'Neill had been hit. But anyway, a fairly physical encounter, but Collard's got through. And remember how good the BMWs are late in the race, but he has to make the most of this early stage of the race because he can't afford to be behind too many once his tyres are working better than the front-wheel drive cars. Matt Jackson coming through in 12th place. Martin Depper is in 13th place. Stephen Kane in the other Airwaves car is currently in 14th position, whilst up front Andy Jordan still with a lead of just under 3 seconds.
Yeah, the fastest man actually on that lap was Tom Bourman. Obviously he's a little bit upset, but he's had the fastest lap by nearly half a second.
Arthur Forster just recovering in the other of the Forster Motorsport machines. Oh, a lot of tyre smoke coming from somebody there. Is that Plato? I'm not sure. We'll have to try and get a view when they come into the next corner. It was difficult to try and pick out who. It is Plato. It's Plato in trouble. My goodness, that is big drama in terms of the championship, because now suddenly Matt Neal's advantage is going to be even bigger.
Yeah, don't forget, this is what we were saying earlier in the day. The Dynamics cars, the Hondas, they've got reliability on their side. Plato has speed, but as we saw at Brands Hatch on the long circuit, he had 2 mechanical retirements, and that looks like a mechanical problem as well.
Andrew Jordan still leading this race. He'll be talking to his dad on the pit wall, I'm sure. Mike Jordan will be talking him through, keeping him in form. Well, Plato's out of the equation. Onslow Cole is still very much in it in 2nd place. That brings Boardman in the black Seat up to 3rd place now. 4th for Gordon Shedden. Now watch out for Shedden. He's won 2 races already. He's now carrying ballast as he was in race 2, but that Honda Civic is very rapid. Let's see what happened to Plato, Tim.
Yeah, let's see. Just coming out of Tower here. Oh, that looks like a real wheel bearing gone. That's a real wheel bearing, or something has seized up. Something's broken in the rear suspension there, but it looked like it was on the drivetrain. Yeah, look, the car is bobbling about. Has he got a puncture?
Actually, yeah, he's got a puncture, has he?
Has he got a puncture? Difficult to tell.
Well, we'll get a word down there in a moment when we get a chance.
Yeah, he's got a puncture, so that must have been maybe from a little bit of contact or leaping over a curb. There's a bit of a tyre mark on that rim, look, on the outer rim, so maybe some contact, but not a quick change on that car because obviously it's a 5-stud wheel, not a centre wheel nut.
Yeah, so it takes a while to change. Meanwhile, up front, Andrew Jordan still leading this race. This is the battle for 3rd between Tom Bourman and Gordon Shedden. On board with Shedden, he's won 2 races today, and he's fired up to make up for some of the disappointments of the season where he's had bad luck. Now he's making up for it all with 2 victories and a good chance of being on the podium here, because that's the 3rd place car immediately ahead of him.
Yeah, Plato back out, and the best he can hope for now is a safety car, but if you notice, Shedden has got some damage to that left front, and that could be hurting him in this race. Collard, I think, is going to be the man to watch here if he can get through, because we know how quick his car is at the end of the race, and you know, there's still a long way to go. We're only a third way through now the race.
That's right, and he is the one behind Shedden. So although Shedden, as we know, is quick, remember how these two diced in race 1 and how Shedden just beat Collard by the tiniest of margins. Well, now Collard's got the chance perhaps to return the favour here, but he needs to try and find a way past fairly soon. Still plenty of laps to go. We're on lap 5 out of 15. Shedden in the Honda Civic, then Collard in the BMW, and got both of them pretty close up behind the Seat of Tom Bourman. Behind them we've got Paul O'Neill running in 6th, Alex McDowell 7th, Matt Neal is in 8th place. He'll know that Plato's been in trouble in this race, and therefore it's more important just to finish solidly and score points. Tom Chilton is currently in 9th, and Daniel Lloyd, again being impressive in his first ever meeting in British Touring Cars, he's sitting in 10th ahead of Matt Jackson, Stephen Kane, Martin Depper and Lee Wood.
Yeah, the damage to that front of Shedden's car is gradually getting worse, and it'll only get worse as he hits the curbs, look.
Yeah, definite, that front bumper making more appearance, that front tyre making more appearance through the front bumpers. You can see it's damaged the front splitter, so that can affect the aerodynamics around the front end of the car, so that won't be helping Shedden, and he's coming under increasing pressure here from Rob Collard right behind. So let's hope that that's not going to affect him too badly. Up front, it's still Andy Jordan leading, by the way. Last time around he had a 3-second advantage over Tom Onslow Cole, and as they come over the line this time, let's see whether that gap is the same. Yeah, it's going to be similar, 3.3. In fact, Jordan's got away a little bit. Yeah,
Andrew Jordan driving absolutely fantastically, and you really want to keep your fingers crossed for the team. They've worked so hard with this new NGT car to get it working, and you really feel their perseverance should deserve some reward.
So through the chicane, and Louise telling us from the pits that Jason Plato had a flat spot on that tyre apparently. But
well, that's an unweighted wheel on the inside of the rear there, so it's not like they're locking up on the front wheels, and he wouldn't have stopped just for a flat spot. It was definitely punctured, so I think he's either gone over a curb or just been unlucky and picked something up. But apologies to the RML team, it certainly wasn't unreliability that caused that problem.
No, that's right, just poor luck, but that's the way it goes, and in this championship luck can have a lot to say in terms of the way it turns out. McDowell is Plato's teammate. There he is in the blue and white Chevy himself. He's running in 7th, and he's chasing after Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill looking at a 6th place at the moment, and remember the battle in the independence points is all pretty close at the moment. Tom Onslow Cole and Stephen Kane are tied in the independence points on 113, with Paul O'Neill only 3 points behind them, so he'll be desperate to get as many points as he can from this. Matt Neal's in the group behind, but they're all sort of ganging up on Paul O'Neill. It looks as though he may be holding up that group a little bit.
Yeah, it's strange. Paul hasn't had quite the pace we'd have expected in this 3rd race. He is carrying 18 kilos of ballast, but that isn't really enough to make you feel the car feel any different. Whether he's got some damage or something, but he hasn't quite got the pace we would have expected.
The gap up front staying the same, as Plato's just put in the fastest lap with that new rear tyre. Jason Plato, fastest lap, but of course he's way down at the back of the order. There he is. Fastest lap is worth something, of course, but he really needs a safety car now to have any chance of doing anything in this race. But Andrew Jordan up front is still leading by over 3 seconds. He's maintaining this advantage. They were concerned that they might not have the front running pace they needed, but right now he definitely has it. But Collard is the danger man, because as the race progresses, he's likely to be getting quicker and quicker in relative terms to the cars ahead of him.
Yeah, and the other thing about the Andrew Jordan's car, the NGT car, is it's a turbo car. It has quite a lot of ancillary components that go with that. It's actually heavier weight distribution at the front of the car, which works the front tyres even harder than it did when the car was running conventional Super Touring regs.
That's right, so all these little things are having to be adjusted, and they're acting almost as guinea pigs with that new engine to try and work out exactly what's needed with it. It is an engine that we'll see a lot more of in the coming years of British touring cars. Looking back from Shedden, though, right at Rob Collard, right into the front bumper of that BMW as it gets ever closer. Up towards the hairpin they come here, and you see how Collard goes in deep and wide, looks for some good traction from his rear-wheel drive BMW, but actually the Honda is quick off the hairpin.
Well, the Honda's working very well. You can see through that tight stuff there was no loss of performance from the Honda. Collard couldn't get anywhere near him, so at the moment Shedden's tyres are working fine, and we saw when Shedden won the 2nd race with maximum ballast, he knows how to look after the tyres. I just thought that damage on the front might have hindered him more than it has.
For the first time, the lead gap between Andrew Jordan and Tom Onslow Cole has come down a little bit. It's still at 3 seconds, but about 0.4 of a second has been taken out of that lead. So are we beginning to see a change? Still half of this race still to go. There's Onslow Cole in 2nd, Borman, Shedden, then Collard, and they are now perhaps just beginning to edge into that lead that Andrew Jordan has built up.
Yeah, don't rule out Tom Borman here, because although he's in 3rd place here, Andrew Jordan and Tom Onslow Cole could both run into trouble with their tyres, and Borman's got a proven package.
James Nash finding a way of getting past Lee Wood there, a little nudge up the back into the hairpin. You can take another look at this perhaps. Oh, that was actually, that was another area of track where he took a shortcut, but it didn't do him any favours.
No, I'm not quite sure that he needed to do that, but he's certainly creative.
Yeah, so Jordan
with a lock-up there into the complex.
That's right, he did that earlier too, so that's obviously a little bit of an issue. But so far he's maintaining the advantage. Collard is still the one really doing the attacking here, and he's got the inside of Shedden, and Collard gets through. He's been looking to try and do something like that for several laps, and he's done it now.
Yeah, I think that was a case of, right, I've been patient enough. It's a tap to pass, just a little tap on the brakes, pushing Shedden wide, and he's through. But I think, he's been patient enough, and he's decided, right, 2nd half of the race, I've got to crack on now.
Andrew Jordan opened up 2/10 again on that last lap. So, although it looked for a moment as though the group behind were beginning to close the leader, actually the leader has responded with a 1:28.3 versus a 1:28.5 from Tom Onslow Cole. So Andrew Jordan is still doing sufficient to stay up front. Let's take another look at this, Tim.
Yeah, watch this. He's quite close. He just runs the car in a little bit quick on the brakes, pushes Shedden wide and through on the inside.
Yeah, well, we've seen a few of those kinds of incidents, but Collard just getting a little frustrated perhaps there, finds a way past, and that puts him up into 4th place. Andy Neitz, his teammate though, is off at the side of the track.
Could this be a safety car? Has he got the, can he start the engine? Is he in a dangerous place?
Certainly not in a great place, is he? Because if you slide off, he stalled it again. There's our race leader. Andy Jordan doing a beautiful job up front at the moment. Can he stay there? That's the question in the background. Look at Paul O'Neill now attacking Gordon Shedden, and right behind them is Alex McDowell, really getting in the mix here.
There's a really good scrap here going on. This is fantastic stuff.
So Paul O'Neill in the sunshine.co.uk car, but look at Collard and how quickly he's caught Tom Boardman. So now he's putting the Black Sayat under pressure, and that is of course for 3rd position. Yeah,
and on this lap he's going to be comfortably the quickest car out there, Plato aside. Look, side by side behind, Shedden and O'Neill.
Yep, O'Neill's going to have a little go at getting past Shedden, whose car is looking more and more battered, and that's got a parachute acting on it now from the front wing, so that's not going to help straight line speed on the Honda, but he's just stayed in front for the moment as Collard, this is where Collard's chance could well come here on the exit of the chicane, but no, very quick there was Boardman. You see how quick he was because he kicked up the dust.
Yeah, but the BM is quick in a straight line. He could have, Shedden's looks like he's maybe under attack here. Has O'Neill got the inside? He's going to have to go for it.
Yeah, he's down there, he's in the inside.
McDowell as well up the inside.
It's good stuff, but Shedden's been fighting to hold him off and he can't do it anymore. O'Neill goes through, but McDowell wasn't able to follow.
No, it's good driving by Shedden because he came into the corner, he knew that McDowell was trying to get it, so he didn't go for the apex, left him some room and just went round the outside.
Yeah, so he's judged it to lose 1 place but not more. You lose 1 place in British touring cars and often you lose a whole train of places. Once again, you're looking back from Shedden, look how close these guys get. And as they come out of Sunny Out, bobble over the curve, build up the speed, up through the gears and up towards the complex once again. McDowell having a little look down the inside, risky place to try anything there, and they make contact, just a slight touch, but Matt Neal's getting involved right behind them.
Yeah, well,
McDowell is going to be done by Matt Neal here. Matt Neal going around the outside.
Yeah, he could end up on the grass though.
Risky stuff. Oh, and
very risky by Matt Neal, but McDowell does give him room, and he's going to have the inside for Clervo, Matt Neal.
Collard's got past Boardman, by the way, so Collard is now in 3rd place. He's got past Matt Neal. Is just held on that position. McDowell's going to lose another one here to Matt Jackson, and that's the price you pay. He's got out of line. He could lose several here. Look at this. You just go backwards if you position yourself wrongly.
Yeah, it's not over yet. He's going to have to straight line the chicane because only 1 car can go through, but he's lost 4 places.
That's the difficulty in touring cars if you fight too hard sometimes.
Matt Neal actually has dropped back.
Yeah, what's happened there? That's strange. He may.
And he's locked up. Oh, has he got a puncture?
He may have. I think he may well. Yeah.
Matt Neal's got a puncture.
How ironic! Both championship contenders with punctures in this race.
Yeah, and he's got a long way to go to get back and then change it.
So Plato actually is going to end up in better shape than Matt Neal after all this.
Yeah, he's going to have to drive that quite slowly because it's on the left front, whereas Plato had his puncture on the rear and could drive a little bit quicker.
Now, this is the battle for 2nd place now. Tom Onslow Cole versus the BMW of Rob Collard. We're on lap 11 out of 15, and Andrew Jordan's lead is still over 3 seconds. So Collard, if he wants to win this race, is going to have to do this pretty quickly, get past 2nd place man, Tom Onslow. Tom Onslow Cole, a little bit of a touch there.
Well, our sound camera there picked up the crunch of fiberglass on fiberglass, didn't it? But he's running out of laps as well.
Yeah, he is, and Andrew Jordan up front now. His lead is 4.3 seconds. This is looking good for Andy Jordan, but let's wait and see. Meanwhile, Shedden dropping another place here as Matt Jackson trying to come past him. Jackson almost through. He was ahead of him as they went across the line, but then Shedden gets him back going into turn 1. Jackson now side by side with him, followed by Tom Chilton and Stephen Kane, and Gordon Shedden cutting the chicane this time.
Yeah, I mean, the car on the left is Shedden in that case has no option but to straight line that because he can't turn into a pile of tyres straight in front of him, so that's perfectly excusable.
Back on board with Tom Onslow Cole. This is 2nd place, looking back at 3rd place Rob Collard. So we're on lap 12 out of 15. Oh, makes a mistake there.
Yeah, just clipped the tyres, turned in too quick, and it threw the car out wide. He picked up a lot of marbles on his left-hand tyres. He didn't need to do that.
and it's going to put him back under pressure from Tom Boorman, and this means really it's a crucial stage of the race because he's not been able to get past that forward focus, and all of this is allowing Andy Jordan up front an untroubled time so far. He's still got a huge advantage, but can he hold on? That's the big question here as these two battle away over second. Oh, and Collard's in trouble. What's happened? Suddenly Collard has slowed right down. And
he's lost drive.
Well, would you believe it? After a fighting drive, he's got nothing, has he? He's coasting, surely.
No, that's a retirement. So that's going to put Boorman back up to third on the podium, but Jordan with a comfortable 5.5 second lead.
That's amazing. Up front, Andy Jordan with a 5.5 second lead in the Pertec car, looking good. Meanwhile, Paul O'Neill here trying to get past Tom Boorman, and this is now for third place, so it's a podium spot up for grabs here between two of the privateers who put so much effort into their racing. Every penny counts for both these teams, and both of them now fighting over the final podium.
Yeah, you'd love to see either of them on the podium. Certainly Boorman and the special tuning team really deserve a break, and I'd love to see Tom get that podium.
Do you think this hitting the tyres was anything to do with problems for Collard?
It's difficult to say. I can't imagine why, in fairness, because it looked like he just lost drive and he clipped it with the front wheels, not the rear wheels, but you never know.
You never know. Well, hopefully we'll get an understanding of what's gone on there, but it's a huge disappointment for Rob Collard, for Team WSR. Had such an amazing weekend here last year with Colin Turkington and Stephen Jelly, but it's still a good race for third place going on, and let's not forget Onslow Cole has done a mighty job too in that forward focus today, picking up points consistently.
Boorman's run wide.
Oh, chance for Paul O'Neill, but can he make it work at the hairpin? That's the question. Trying to cut back again. Oh, and he's got a good exit here, but he's on the wrong side of the road.
He has, but his car is quick and he's not up against a focus this time. This is going to be bravery into the first corner. They're both brave drivers. I think that Boorman has enough to hold it. He does.
Oh, and judges the braking well, because it's so easy to brake so late to keep the guy behind you that you can go skating on, but he didn't do that.
Yeah. Paul O'Neill really is a great driver to watch racing, because he doesn't deliberately run into people. He really tries to work out a way to pass, and both these two are really driving very well.
Black and orange flag for Gordon Shedden, so the damage on Gordon Shedden's car means he's going to have to come in. He's dropped down to 10th, or 9th rather now anyway, so a great shame for the winner of the first two races of the day, but this has certainly opened things up for a different winner in race 3 of the day, and what a race it's proving to be. Paul O'Neill still trying to chase down Tom Boorman for third place here. Behind them you've got Tom Chilton, who's come from a long way down on the grid, and then you've got the rest of them will fight. There's Shedden with the damage to his car, but as I say, black and orange flag. Oh, and Paul O'Neill side by side with Boorman. No, still can't do it. Still can't quite do it. And as they come around this time, they will be going on to their final lap. So Paul O'Neill's running out of opportunities here. Into the left-hander of the complex and up towards the hairpin. Paul O'Neill's had a couple of little runs up here to try and get through, but he hasn't managed to do so as yet. Now, what can he do here? Anything to try and get the exit. This is where he was quick last time, but surely he's not quite close enough. Boorman holds it tight. We're on to the final lap. And up front, let's just remind you that Andrew Jordan is leading this race in the Pertec car, the family-run Vauxhall Vectra with the new generation touring car engine. It could be that he's on for his first ever win in British touring cars, but this battle for third is still tight as Paul O'Neill still getting very, very close into the back there. Tom Onslow Cole still in second, and then this mighty, mighty fight for third place.
Yeah, Boorman really driving defensively. That's allowed Chilton to get onto the back. I wonder, locking up there, that's Matt Jackson. Stephen Kane, sorry.
And O'Neill's going around the outside, but he's been pushed out wide. Chilton's going to take advantage of it as well. O'Neill's dropped 1, 2, maybe 3 places there. And as a result, Boorman's still in third. But will he stay in third place? Who knows? It's a big, big question. But they're all fighting on this last lap. And Stephen Kane locks up, squeezing, looking back from him now at Tom Chilton. Remember, Stephen Kane,
they're through.
Stephen Kane's looking for a podium finish here to continue his record. What a final race this is! But I tell you, we're going to have a brand new winner in British touring cars. Andrew Jordan is going to win his first race in British touring cars. A fabulous drive. It's the first win for the new generation turbo engine. Second place is, who's it going to be? It should be Tom Onslow Cole, I think. Waiting for the ball to cross. Yeah, Onslow Cole second. And third is Stephen Kane, who incredibly keeps his record of a podium finish at every meeting this year, and this time he's done it from 19th on the grid.
Yeah, well, we said this was the race he might achieve it, and thanks to some massively close racing at the end, he just got there. But some great driving. Disappointed for Boardman, who finished up 6th, and O'Neill 5th, but that's touring car racing, and brilliant result for Andrew Jordan. The whole Pertec team, they thoroughly deserve it.
That is such an achievement. They had such a horrible time at Alton Park, all sorts of problems last time out. Really, anybody could have been disheartened by that, but they are such a strong team, a family team, and they just fought back. There's Andrew's mum Judith, his sister Sarah, there's Dad Mike with the headset on. What a result, what an achievement for these guys. They have all worked so hard, and it's been such a tough start to the year, and that is fully deserved. And boy, he drove it well, because he got the break in the first lap, but then he just managed to ease away a little more in the early stages and control it from there.
Yeah, and the truth was they're very quick cars up behind it. This is the team celebrating over the line, lights on, Onslow Cole comes through, and there's Mike. You've done it, son, well done. Thank you for making my Father's Day.
That really is a Father's Day present, isn't it, for Mike, because they just they were not expecting that. They were hoping, as they always do. They are fighters, they're racers to the end, but come home with that result is truly something special, and that's going to be a real celebration for the whole team. 21 years old he is now, Andy, but now he's truly come of age, because he is a British touring car winner, and he knows it. He is celebrating inside that car. This Croft circuit, he knows the rallycross circuit pretty well. He's won races here in rallycross, but he's not won a British touring car race on the main circuit until now.
But at times today it was like a rallycross, and it is also the first win for the NGT engine, so Alan Gow will be pleased as well.
Yeah, that's the new generation engine. We're going to see a lot more of those next year, Tim.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the way to go. They're a lot cheaper, and British touring cars needs to get costs down.
But what a seesaw in terms of the championship that race was. Matt Neal out of the race. Plato failed to score, except he did get the fastest lap point. But it means basically that the championship positions haven't changed from race 2, and it means it is going to be close. So the result of race 3, we have a new winner in Andy Jordan for Pertec Racing, winning ahead of Tom Onslow Cole and Stephen Kane coming from the back to finish 3rd. Tom Chilton was 4th. Paul O'Neill in a mighty battle finished 5th. Boorman dropped to 6th in the end. Jackson was 7th, ahead of Daniel Lloyd in the points again, Shedden 9th and McDowell in 10th. Then James Nash and John George, Lee Wood and Sean Hollenby going well in the VW Golf to get 14th ahead of Arthur Forster, but Jason Plato had to come into the pits. Rob Collard was a very unfortunate retirement, and Matt Neal was another big story to go out of the race. And in terms of the championship, Matt Neal will go into the summer break with an 8-point advantage over Jason Plato. That's not a great deal. And look, they're not that much further ahead of Gordon Shedden, who's had a fantastic weekend here at Croft. Tom Onslow Cole's in the hunt in the Team Aon Focus, and Stephen Kane has once again dug himself out of trouble to get a podium there. He's on 92 points, just ahead of his teammate Paul O'Neill, Rob Collard, Tom Chilton, and there Andrew Jordan complete the top 10.